Okay, good. Shana Tova. So nice to see everyone here. Cantor Fox, it's always great to be with you on Erev Rosh Hashanah.
Not that I have to say it, but it really is great to be with you.
You do have to say it. It's part of the shtick. But it's great to be here. And one of the great things about being together on Rosh Hashanah is that you see people you haven't seen for a while. And you come together and you get to catch up on life. You get to see people you haven't seen in so long, and you realize that they've either gotten older, or maybe they've achieved something new, and it's a chance to being together. So it's so nice to see all of you, faces from near and far, on this beautiful Sunday night. I will tell you one thing, though, Herschel. One of the frustrations of having Yontif so late is that we're in the fourth week of the football season, and I have yet to see a game because I've been so busy working and getting ready for Yontif that I haven't seen a single Cowboy game, and then they're on right now. And George just told me that it's tied 3-3, which is really good, but I have no idea what's going on, and now it's too hot. I'm just speaking a lot because I'm trying to get the level of the mic right, because it's obviously not right. So the Cowboys are tied 3-3 in the second. If someone wants to tell me maybe a little bit later tonight how the Cowboys are doing, B'ezrat Hashem, maybe they'll understand what's going on. They're not going to lose. Come on, Ron. Come on. Let's sing together. Let's come together. Again, if you were sitting in the back or even in the partial back or in Economy Plus, you can come forward to come sit up front because it's open seating tonight. We just want to be together and enjoy together. Herschel, you want to sing with us a little bit? Should we sing?
Okay.
Let's
So, Rabbi Farkas, I keep saying Rabbi Farkas because I'm from Europe, but you called technically Rabbi Farkas.
That is true.
I like Farkas better. Okay. So he asked to sing a little bit, asked me to lead you a little bit in song. So we'll take a couple that are my favorites. C minor. I got it. Lie, 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 lie. Everybody, a little more. Lie, 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 lie. Haneshama lach, Haneshama lach, v'haguf b'varach, chusa. Second half, ready? Lie, 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 lie. Oh, this is a very musical group. Very good. Everybody here. One more time. Lie, 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 lie. Getting better. Lie, 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 lie. I think you know this one. We're going to go up one key. Are you ready? V'tahel libeinu le'ovdecha, 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 come on! V'tahel libeinu le'ovdecha, le'ovdecha, ovdecha, le'ovdecha, v'tahel libeinu le'ovdecha, le'ovdecha, ovdecha, le'ovdecha, v'tahel libeinu le'ovdecha, le'ovdecha, ovdecha, one more time, everybody clap and sing. V'tahel libeinu le'ovdecha, le'ovdecha. Oh, that's a good row right there. V'tahel libeinu le'ovdecha, le'ovdecha, ovdecha, le'ovdecha, v'tahel libeinu le'ovdecha, le'ovdecha, ovdecha, le'ovdecha, same rhythm, same key. Listen to this one. Or zarua la tzadik, ule yishre leiv simcha. Or zarua la tzadik, ule yishre leiv simcha. Or zarua la tzadik. I know you know this one. Heveinu Shalom. Can you give me a little more? Shalom Aleichem. Heveinu Shalom Aleichem. Heveinu Shalom. Shalom. Shalom Aleichem. Heveinu Shalom. Little more. Getting better. Heveinu Shalom Aleichem. Heveinu Shalom. Shalom, shalom aleichem, Ohoseh shalom bimromaver. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru amen. Yahaseh al kol Yisrael, Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom, ve'al kol Yisrael.
Let's all rise together. Hold each other arm in arm, sing one more song as we get ready to light the candles and bring in this wonderful Yontif together.
Hine matov manahim. Last time, everybody. Hine matov. Hine matov manayim shevet achim.
How was that, Herschel? That was really nice. That was really beautiful. Stay standing. We're going to light the candles together. Call members of the choir forward, as well as Susan Feldman, who co-chairs Mitzvah Day. It's a number of other chesed projects. Let's bring the light of this Yontif, this light of this new year, together as we bless the candles.
La 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 la. One more time and then we'll start together. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, 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 lie. Lie, la, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Baruch atah Adonai. Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, b'mitzvotav. V'tzivanu, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, v'tzivanu, v'tzivanu. V'tzivanu lehadlik ner, shel yom etov.
Before the beginning, God saw the emptiness, the chaos, the darkness, and God said, Yehi or, let there be light.
Very good. La 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 la. And join us in the first Shechianu of the new year. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
next to you, give them a big hug, give them a kiss if you're comfortable, wish them Shana Tova. We'll turn to page 18 for the Baruch Hu. Ursula, go ahead and teach them the words.
You want to start?
Yeah. The melody.
We're going to try the melody a couple of times because we're going to do it many times, okay? So let's just do it to learn it. Lie, 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 lie. One more time to learn it. Join me. Lie, 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 lie.
Again together on page 18 as we begin the service with the words of Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu. Lie, 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 lie. Adonai, Amevorach, Baruch, Amevorach leolam vaed.
You may be seated. We continue on 18 and following with the words of Mariv.
Umavire yom, umeir vilayela, umavidir ben yom vilayela, Adonai, Tzvaot Shemo, Erechai, v'kayam, tamid yimeloch aleinu leolam vaed, Baruch Atah Adonai. חיינו ויורך ימינו והם נגד יומם ולילה Baruch atah Adonai. Baruch Shemo. Oev
Turn to page 22. Prepare ourselves for the words of Shema Yisrael, recognizing the unity of all things under the infinity of God. Page 22, Shema Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך.
Continue silently on page 24 and 25.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם.
Continue on page 28 to the bottom.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ובני ישראל לכנו שירה איי 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 ושמחו רבה ואמרו כולם לפניך, בוקי הים לפני משה, זה אלי אדוני אמרו. אמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגיורו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני. גאל ישראל.
Continue on page 30.
ופרוס עלינו סוכת, סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני. הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו מעל כל עמו ישראל. איי 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 ירושלים.
We continue on page 33.
תיקו בחודש שופר, בכסל יום חגנו, כי חוק לישראל הוא משפט לאלוהי יעקב.
Sound the shofar on the new moon, the time appointed for our new year. Its observance is a law for Israel, ordained by the God of Jacob, and together we say, Amen. We rise together on page 34 for Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה. ולמען יברכתי ויום לכמוכתי וחיי חול ויום חול ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלל ובזמן כל ויאמרו אמן אמן. יהי שמי רב יבורך ויתברך וישתבח וידבור ודרום ונשא וידדר ויתעלה ויתעלל שמי דקודש בריחו בריחו לעילה ולעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה אמילון מעולמה ירועה
Friends, on page 36 and following in your Machzor is the evening Amidah, the first Amidah of the penitential and reverential season, an opportunity for some private prayer and quiet reflection. There's also a poetry booklet in your seats, so if the words of the prayer book are not matching your spiritual heart, perhaps the words of poetry will. Take a few minutes now in quiet prayer and reflection, and at the conclusion of your prayers, you may be seated. Continue with Kaddish Shalem, page 50.
יתקדל ויקדש בערבה וביום ותברך ירדתה וימליך ודברך יכנו חיירו בישראל בעגלה ובזמן קורי וימרו יהי שמי רב מבורך, לעולם ולעולם ולמיה. שמי דקודשה וריחו לילה ולילה מקום אחד ושירת ושוחד ורחמתו דמירום יומו וימרו יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל וימרו עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל וימרו
Yasher Koach, Herschel, very nice. I love how Jewish you are. Especially when you speak Yiddish, which I barely understand. So I really appreciate it. And good yontif to all of you. It's so nice to have you here. You can close your books for just a couple minutes. Really appreciate you being here on our Erev Yontif, Erev Rosh Hashanah, sort of spiritual warm-up for the holiday. I know Sunday dinner is a thing, and I especially know that Erev Rosh Hashanah dinner is a thing, and I know that Sunday football is a thing, and I really appreciate that despite all of those things, you are still in shul with us this evening. So, Shana Tova, and thank you so much for coming. One of the greatest privileges of my job is that I get to teach and mentor over 100 young people every week. Every Tuesday morning, I teach theology to rabbinical students at the American Jewish University, and every Tuesday afternoon, I teach prayers to 7th graders, and every Tuesday night, I do current events with 10th graders, and once a month, I train young professionals who want to expand their leadership in the city through the Jewish Federation's Rautenberg New Leaders Project. And quarterly, I work with the Emerging Leaders Cohort here at VBS, which is about 30 young members who love VBS so much that they want to be part of our leadership pipeline. I love working with the young, not just because they have so much energy, not just because they give me insight into what's cool or what to listen to or what not to wear, but because they have something that many of us have lost. Something that I want to think about deeply with you on this wonderful holy day. These young people I work with and so many others I see have a sense of the new. They come to the world and to their Judaism with new eyes. Everything to them is new. The younger you are, obviously the newer things are. Have you ever seen the world through the eyes of the young? Like on an airplane, when they want to touch every button, or look out the window, or play with the seat in front of them, much to the chagrin of the business traveler who's sitting right directly in front of them. Or my son, who for the first year of his life, he's now 7, was allergic to everything. And on his first birthday, the doctor told us many of his allergies have subsided, so we decided for his first birthday to give him a chocolate cupcake. See, he couldn't eat it until his first birthday, so we took the risk. Sarah and I, we put the bib on, we sang happy birthday, we put the cupcake in front of him, and he looked at it like it came from another planet. This poor kid had no idea what a chocolate cupcake is. We had to tell him to give him a try, we had to nudge him. Finally, he reached out with his hand and took a bite. And then he gave us that look of utter wonder and surprise. He ate the cupcake with his whole body. He started out as a beautifully clean kid, and by the end of the meal, he was completely covered in chocolate paste and crumbs and frosting. He had a whole body experience. Then he gave us another look, the one I'll never forget, the one of indignation, because he had never eaten it before, and I know that he couldn't speak, but I know what his mind was trying to say. He was trying to say, how come you've been holding out on me all this time? I've been eating peas and carrots and mush, but what is this? It's amazing, it's awesome, it's so new, and I can't believe you've been holding out on me. Where has it been my whole life? All 365 days of it. But that's the magic of the new. to be full of wonder and full of surprise, right? Or the first night, maybe you slept in a bed that's not your childhood bedroom. That's new. Or the first time someone who's not related to you held your hand. The first time your spouse or friend or partner said, "I love you." That's new. That is the feeling of the new. It's exhilarating, it's scary, it's awesome. But that's the feeling, that is the experience I want to focus with you this evening. This idea of the new. The idea of the future expressed so freely by our young. Rosh Hashanah is all about the new. We celebrate tomorrow. We'll sing Hayom Harat Olam. Today is the birthday of the world. Hayom, today, is a day to celebrate the new year where we praise creation, commit ourselves to the future. Hayom, today, is the new year which brings new possibilities. But some of us will never step into our future because we live only in the past. Some of us are running away from our past, but will never turn to look for the future because we are too afraid of what we might find there. And as a community, some of us let the shadows of the past eclipse the light of tomorrow. But today, tonight, Hayom, we can bring an end to that. We're going to move from the old to the new, from the past to the future. Are you ready to go there with me? Good, I'm glad you said yes. This is the interactive part of the sermon. We Jews worry. We don't need a whole sermon about it because we already know how to worry. Just ask how many people are coming for breakfast next week, and you can see the blood pressure slowly rising under the skin. But we worry all the time, and about the future especially. We fear that our children just won't have it as good as we do. We fear that the world that they're coming into is violent and hot. And most of all, we fear our own disappearance, that every generation is the last generation. And we have reason to fear because it is fundamentally true. Every generation of Jews is the last generation if we let it be. Often in our worry about the Jewish future, though, we worry about the new. We fear new forms of living Jewishly. We fear new forms of Jewish identity. We fear new forms of belonging. And so we let our fear grow and grip us. We let our fear transform our skepticism into cynicism and our optimism into pessimism. Our fear transforms our memory into nostalgia, a longing for the past because the future is just too scary. When I was a kid, I made the mistake of taking 4 years of Latin. I thought I was being so smart by learning this dead language. It will help you learn all the Romance languages, they said. It will give you better SAT scores, they said. No, that is not true. When traveling, my friends could speak French in France, or Spanish in Spain or Mexico, and German in Germany. Me, well, I could translate the Catholic Mass for you if you wanted me to. Or perhaps you'd like to hear Seneca or Caesar in the original. I can do that. But asking where the grocery store is, how does one order a burrito in Latin exactly? Da mihi burrito si placet tibi, by the way, because I still know Latin. I just want to point that out. What I did learn in Latin class, though, is how the Romans understood history. My Latin teachers were enamored with the Romans because they built roads, and they were enamored with the Greeks because they built democracy. And all I could think of saying to them was, well, those time periods weren't so great for my people. But there was one famous Greek poet named Hesiod. He came up with this idea that once upon a time, a long time ago, human beings lived in harmony with nature and with the gods. Hesiod named this time, he coined the term, the Golden Age. It was in the Golden Age when we lived in peace, and the Golden Age is when we had our greatest knowledge, according to Hesiod. The Golden Age is when we accomplished great things. But then after the Golden Age, nothing was just quite as good as the Golden Age. You had your Silver Age, you had your Bronze Age, your Heroic Age, and finally the Iron Age, the age in which Hesiod thought he lived. where he wrote that everything was quote-unquote dark and filled with toil and sorrow. Oh, how good would it be just to go back to that golden age. We are taught over and over again in Western culture that when we fear the future, when we can't quite get to the new, our answer has to be to go backwards. Remember the good old days. Remember when life was simpler. Go back to the way things were. Don't ever change. Hold on to the past. The present is just too dark. We are too burned by each other. Our lives are too hard. Work is too hard. The future is too uncertain. It's too scary. So let's go back to the past, to the golden age when things were just fine. The greatest expression of the Jewish imagination of this idea was found in the words of Rabbi Moses Schreiber, also known as the Chatam Sofer. He was considered one of the most authoritative rabbis in Ashkenazi Europe. He hated the new, and he feared the future. He bridled at anything that would change the way Jews in the 18th and 19th century practiced Judaism by writing Chadash Asur Min HaTorah, meaning the new is forbidden in the Torah. Nothing new was allowed. The Torah prohibits innovation. All that matters is the past, and all that matters is living for yesterday and not tomorrow. What's worse than forbidding the new is saying that the new is not possible. Famously, King Solomon said, Ein chadash mitachat hashamesh. There is nothing new under the sun. Now, he was an old man when he wrote that. After living a wonderful life, learning everything there is to know, sharing in the riches of prosperity, and reigning over the largest Jewish sovereign territory in the history of the world, Solomon leaves us with this little line. There is nothing new under the sun. Solomon was wrong. Maybe he was having a bad day. Maybe he was tired of worrying about the future. When he says that there's nothing new under the sun, it sounds like a great tweet, quippy and destructive all at the same time. But in writing that there is nothing new under the sun, he consigns us to the past. He destroys the possibility of tomorrow. With all his great wisdom, he destroys wisdom itself. Why build a house or have a child if nothing new is possible? Why start a business or educate children? Why should you fight or dream or struggle if all we live in is an iron age? If we allow nostalgia to enslave our present, then there is no future. If we forbid the future, then all we live for is the past. And if we embrace the possibility of the new, if we don't embrace the possibility of the new, then we'll only hold on to the old. If you are cynical because the past has made you cynical, then you'll see the whole world as cynical. If you believe the world is dark, you'll become the darkness. If you look out at the world and all you see is meaninglessness, then you'll live your life without meaning. And if you surrender yourself to the past, you are never free to explore your future. If you only long for the good old days, then you'll have no good days ahead of you. Do not build your view of reality on someone who says the future is meaningless. Do not build your future on the cynic or someone who's given up on the future itself. Do not build your life on the darkness. Do not build your life on the empty complaints of an irascible old man, no matter how powerful he is. Instead, my friends, we need to tell a different story. Not one that puts the golden age into the past. Not one that says that we live in the dark and sorrowful world. Not one that pines after the good old days or forbids the new. We need to tell a different story, a better story, a story rooted in the past, but whose conclusion is yet to be written. We need to tell our story, the Jewish story, the story of you, the story of me, the story of us together. It begins in a place called Midian. Moses, after growing up in Pharaoh's palace, has a confrontation with a taskmaster. He runs away in the desert, so very afraid that the authorities will catch him for protecting a Hebrew slave. He hides himself as a shepherd. What was once the prince of Egypt is now just a lowly peasant shepherd boy. He ran away from his past, hoping that he would make his life all over again. And one day, according to the Midrash, he was following a lost sheep up a mountain and noticed for the first time a burning bush at its apex. He had never seen it before. For years, he'd run past this spot, back and forth again with the sheep, but suddenly, there it was. He turned to it, the Torah says, and when he turned for the first time, he saw the light upon the mountain. The rabbis say that this fire, this bush, had been there since the time of creation, but no one had seen it before. It's always been there, glowing like a beacon for thousands of years, but no one had turned to see it until Moses did. Some of you know this story because it's your story. Some of you are here tonight, running every day away from your past, from your childhood you'd rather forget, from abuse, from bullies, from your own addiction, your own depression. There are some of you that have made real mistakes in your life. Some of you cover up your past with the clothes of a new life, hiding in plain sight. I know some of you are terrified because your past haunts you. I know that we live in a time when everyone wants to point out your worst moment of our past and tell us that we are nothing more than our worst memory. We are so afraid of the new because it just might look like the old. I know this, but so does God. God does not leave us in the dark. God's light, according to the Torah, has always been there. If you turn to it, God's light is there. If you look for it, God's light is there. The new is waiting out there for you. It always has been. All you need to do is to turn and notice and turn towards the future. Moses finally came to terms with himself, and that's when he turned and saw the burning bush. When God spoke and said that Moses had to go back to the land, back to Egypt, so that he could free those who were still trapped in Egypt, free his family, Moses asked God the most daring of questions. He says, when I come to them and they say that God of our ancestors has sent me to you, and then they ask me, what is God's name? What shall I say? What shall I say to them? God replies, Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh. That is what you should say. Say, Ehyeh sent me to you. Many non-Jewish translations read God's response to mean, I am what I am. And some philosophers translate God's name to be, I am the one who is. These are deeply significant mistranslations because they tell us nothing we don't already know. The Hebrew phrase does teach us something new. It's not in the present tense. God's name is literally, I will be what I will be. God's name is in the future tense. And if we fail to understand this, we will miss the very gift that Judaism brings to the world. Moses says, it's God, the God of my ancestors that liberates me, but God says to him, no, it's not enough to hold on to the past. The past can give you comfort, Moses, but it cannot liberate you. The past gives you grounding, but it can't make you soar. The past shapes your present, but it cannot make your future. The past cannot bring you up from the darkness, nor can the past break chains. Tell them, God says, tell them Ehyeh sent you. Tell them the future sent you, so that you may free the slave. You may help the poor. You may reach toward the light and go into the new, which you've never experienced as a slave, but have only dreamed. Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh sent you. Ehyeh sent you. God's name, that is the name of our God. Ehiyeh asher ehiyeh. God's name is the future. God's gift to us is Judaism's gift to the world. Never before has a culture said that your tomorrows don't have to be like your yesterdays. What is enslaving you today can be broken tomorrow. Your golden age is ahead of you, not behind you. Your greatest accomplishments are still to come. It doesn't matter where you've been or what you've done or the choices you've made. If you make the turn, if you choose to see the light that has always been there, if you go into the new, you can leave it behind. When we step out of the past and into the future, we step into redemption. Just like Moses, we step into God's territory. God's name is the future. You are created in the image of God, which means that each of us, are created for the future. However, we've collectively lost this sense of the new. For many years, we've collectively felt that the goal of the American synagogue of the 20th century was survivorship. We built a community in order to maintain that what was, because we were haunted by the past. We were afraid for our future. We needed to survive. Whether it was to preserve ourselves against assimilation in the early generations or to ensure the continuity of our people in later generations, we designed, built, funded communities in order to hold on to the past. We built our community on memory, our institutions on memory, and for generations now, our entire Jewish lives out of memory. Our walls are adorned with the names of the dead. We say Yizkor 4 times a year. We light candles in memory. We fast in memory. We pray in memory. There are good reasons for doing so, amazing, important reasons for doing so. The past has incredible value in Jewish life. The past is the source of authenticity and authority. It shapes us and authors our values. We educate our children to know from where they come. We are taught to remember so that we can teach them to remember. We teach them to remember that God created the world. Remember the oppression of Pharaoh. Remember the exodus from Egypt. Remember being a stranger. Remember the guile of Amalek. Remember the ovens of Auschwitz. Remember, 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 remember. Remembrance, we are told over and over again, is part of being a Jew. But, and please remember this, every time the Torah says remember, it precedes a new generative and creative action. Remember God's creation, so we must create Shabbat. Remember the Exodus, so you too must free those who are bound up in the chains of oppression. Remember being a poor stranger, so we don't allow the poor and the homeless to suffer. Remember the guile of Amalek. We too must erase the guile from our midst. And remember what happened in the Shoah, so that we too can create a vibrant Jewish life. Remember, 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 remember the past, but do not live in the past. If we only struggle against what haunts us, we'll have no energy to fight for our future. If we allow ourselves to be hunted by shadows of generations on, we'll never chase the dawn. We cannot get to the new until we stop fearing it. We cannot step boldly into the future by only looking in the rearview mirror. None of us can become the person we long to be if we only hold on to the person we used to be. We cannot just remember the past to survive. We must use our memory, as the Torah says, so that we may thrive. The old shapes, but we must not let it control the new. The past can give content, but not form of the future. It is the role of every generation of Jews to grapple with the ideas of what it means to be Jewish. And it is the role of the synagogue to help with those conversations. Today, Hayom, we are experiencing another generational shift in Jewish life. These young Jews that take their Judaism seriously, but they express it very differently than you or I. They see Judaism as the paint and the clay and the stone in their lives, but not the canvas. Today, there is an emerging type of Jew who wants to be fully active partner in creating their Jewish life, not to be told what to do or how things should be, but to be guided by wisdom and tradition for them to make their own ritual, their own art, their own Jewish culture. The contemporary Jewish psyche is one of self-expression and creativity, not obedience. They want to craft their own Jewish path. The younger Jews I encounter, the hundreds of them, are experimenting more and more with ritual and identity and what it means to be Jewish. Jewish institutions need to take note. We need to take note. We have spent so much time obsessed with assimilation and continuity, ideas that fear the future, that we're not ready for it now that the future has actually arrived. If all we listen to is the commanding voice of the past, we can't hear these voices of the future. There are new commentaries that are being written, new songs sung, new dances danced, new art made every day. There is a Jewish future that is being created with or without us. The synagogue, our home, the spiritual home of Jews for thousands of years, stands at a turning point right now. There are more Jewish creatives today than ever in the history of the world. More art and more books, more poems, more songs written than ever before. But those creatives don't see the synagogue as the place to express their Jewish spirit. Our prayers don't speak to their hearts. Our programs don't capture their spiritual imaginations. They don't see themselves here. And if we want to step into the future, we have to not fear what the future will look like. We not only have to turn towards the new, we have to build our community on it. Where the purpose of the synagogue before was about preserving the past, the purpose now must be to step into the future, to use the old to go into the new, to touch the Spirit and help those who are running from their past to see the light of their future, to guide the spirit of every person who comes in our doors or engages with us online towards their own spiritual expression. This needs to be our mission, to step into tomorrow, to step into God's territory. My goal as a rabbi is to use the past to create the future. Spiritual leadership is its most powerful when it sets the spirit free. To use the wisdom of the past to help every Jew who wishes to unleash their spiritual future. I do not know what it will look like, but that's the most powerful and beautiful part about the future. We can't predict it, but we can create it. This is not a policy proposal. This is a theological proposal, an ideological proposal, a psychological and perhaps even a sociological proposal. And when new ideas are proposed, we should say yes before we say no. When new songs are sung, we should say yes before we say no. Wherever creativity is found in the Jewish spirit, we should say yes before we say no. Do not fear the future. Take heart from the last phrase of the last line of the last song of every service. From the Adon Olam it says, Adonai li v'lo ira. The last message gives us heart when we face the future in leaving the synagogue. Have courage. Be strong. Do not fear the new, for God is with us. Adonai li v'lo ira. Do not fear what might come next, because the future is already out there. Do not fear and take heart. The young are ready. Do not fear and have courage, because these young Jews care, believe, create, and build what they love. Do not fear the future, because God's name is the future. Every melody you've ever heard, every sermon ever taught, every word of Torah from this bima was written by someone. Every song we sing is the product of the creativity of the Jewish mind. Or chadash, shir chadash. To step into the new, we must create a new light and a new song. We gave the world the idea of the future, and it's time now to use that gift for ourselves. Tomorrow will not look like yesterday. Hayom, today, on this day of creation and of new possibility, let us embrace the new. Have no fear, for the young are ready. They are already creating the future because they are the future. God is with them. God is with us because God's name is the future. So let us be bold. Let us be creative. For when we step into the new, we step into God's territory. Let's rise together and bless the new. Bless this wonderful day with the words of Kiddush, sanctifying the past by bringing us into the present on this wonderful new year, a new year of possibilities and sweetness, a new year of goodness and loving kindness. Let us bless the day together.
I had a little before very good. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafer Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher maranu mikol ha'am ורוממנו מכל לשון וקידשנו במצוותיו ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו מאהבה את יום הזיכרון הזה יום תרועה מקרא קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי באנו ואחדנו בידנו קידשתו מכל העמים ודברך אמת ודברך אמת וקיים לא עד ברוך אתה אדוני מלך על כל הארץ מלך על כל הארץ מקדש ישראל מלך על כל הארץ מקדש ישראל ויום הזיכרון ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו
Drink up, Herschel. Page 58, we stay standing for the words of Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח אדון הכל שלא עשנו גילויי הרצון ולא שמענו כמזבחות האדמה שלא שם חלקנו כואב וגור עלינו לפני ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסיד ארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל שכינתו זו בגובה מרחמים אמת דרכנו אפס ונתנו ככתוב בתורתו ילד ויקשיבו אותה אל לבבך כי אדוני השומעים ויעלורת תמלוך עליהם אלוהינו כי המלכות שלך יהיו תמלוך בכבוד ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כל הארץ היום ההוא
You may be seated. Mourner's Kaddish, friends, is found on page 64. If there is someone in your circle of friends or family you wish to remember at this time, I ask you to please rise. And in our community, we don't allow people who are in mourning alone to be alone. So if you see anyone who's standing by themselves, please cozy up next to them. Let them know that they have a friend here at VBS as we recite the Mourner's Kaddish on page 64. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba, be'omad yivrach hirotei ve'amlich machutei, v'chayei chon v'yomei chon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, b'agala uv'izman kari v'yimru amen. Yehev shmei rabba mevorach le'olam omei omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha brichu. Le'ela, le'ela, min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran b'yama v'yimru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemayim, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. If you are in mourning, may God give comfort to you and to your family, and together we say amen. You may be seated. Yasher Koach Herschel, very nice tonight. And to the choir, Dr. Noreen Green, thank you so much for being here. And to our wonderful choir, you guys really sounded nice tonight. Really, really, really delightful. I know, I'm delighted. I'm not surprised. I'm not saying I'm surprised. I'm saying I'm delighted. It's wonderful. I have one favor to ask before I invite Eileen Berman up here. Last year at the end of the high holiday season, in our vigor to pack up, maintenance grabbed my machzor and put it into one of the hundreds of boxes of which, so if you see a machzor around you somewhere that has my name on it, I'll give you a chocolate bar if you bring it back up to me, because I miss my notes. So if you see it, please let me know and let other people know. It has stickers on it with my name. It's now my pleasure to call on Eileen Berman, our membership vice president, for a few announcements. No way. I'm going to give you sit right there all the way across.
Today is a very good day. Shana Tova. Thank you all for joining us this evening. It's so wonderful to see all of you here. Thank you, Rabbi Farkas, Cantor Fox, Noreen Green, Chris Harden, and the VBS choir, and our Beamer coordinator and floor coordinator. Remember, there is no admission without a ticket and ID. If you forget your tickets tomorrow, you must get a replacement ticket at will call just north of the security gate. Additionally, if you've noticed, we have increased security this year. Please arrive early, plan a short wait, pack lightly, have your ID and tickets and help speed things along. Thank you for your patience and understanding as we want to ensure that our members and guests can experience the holidays with peace of mind and comfort. In terms of transportation and parking, this year we really encourage you to use Lyft, Uber, and GoGo Grandparent. And to get to synagogue tomorrow and for Yom Kippur, we have sent out discount codes to use for Lyft. The rideshare services are a convenient way to come to services, as you will be dropped off on Densmore right in front of the building. Street parking is available, with most parking restrictions lifted on our neighboring streets. If you park in the building next door, rather across the street, make sure to bring your ticket and have it validated. Again, this year we are providing valet parking for members with disabled placards. The drop-off point is near our security booth, and pickup is located at the corner of Moore Park and Densmore. Please keep in mind there may be a little wait, actually a long wait, and for the valet to bring your car. There will be seating outside as well. There are 2 family services tomorrow. Our services for families of preschool children begin at 9:15, and our family service for elementary school children at 10:30. Both of these services will be in the new Levine Community Center. Main sanctuary services tomorrow begin with preliminary prayers at 7:45 in this sanctuary. The service for both sanctuary and Malkin tickets will be in here. After 9 o'clock, reserved seating takes place in this sanctuary and Malkin as well. Please remember to participate in our annual Project Pushcart for all those in need. We are collecting food for the VBS Food Bank and SOVA, new socks, t-shirts, and underwear for the veterans, and new toys in the original packages for Sharsheret. Collection stations will be outside the parking lot. On behalf of the officers, board of directors, staff, I wish you and your families Shana Tova.
Liz, there are a lot of announcements. Shana Tova. There is a God. Baruch Hashem. It's amazing. It's amazing. I swear, I'm going to make sure you get better seats for Yom Kippur. Now, if you get better seats for Yom Kippur, you're going to sit up here on the bima with me. That's what I'm going to make sure. Let's sing together Kol HaNishama, Psalm 150, a beautiful song. I don't know what page it's on, but you pretty much know the words. It's not. It's in the book. It's for tomorrow morning. You're so excited about tomorrow. You want to sing. Okay. Let's sing together. Kol HaNishama.
age 68, join us in Adon Olam. Oh, Yigdal, Yigdal. See how close I was? Yigdal. Yigdal Elohim Chai, ve'yishtabach, nimtza ve'yenei, el metziuto, echad ve'yen yachid, ke'yichudo, galam v'gam ein sof le'yachduto, ve'lo demut haguf, ve'yeino guf, lo na'aruch elav, yidui jadon, non lechol davar, asher nivra, ראשון ואין ראשית לראשיתו הינו אדון עולם וכל נוצר יורה גדולתו ומלכותו שפע נבואתו נתנו ולאנשי סגולתו ותפארתו לא קם בישראל כמו שעוד נביא ומעביר את תמונתו תורת אמת נתן לימואל על יד נביאו למען ביתו לא יחל יפעל ולא ימיר דתו לעולמים לזולתו צופה ויודע צטריינו מביט לסוף דבר בקדמתו גומר לאיש חסד כמי יפעלו נותן לרשע רע כרישתו ישלח לקץ ימין משיחנו לבנות מחקקי ישועתו מתים יחייאל ברוב חסדו ברוך עדי עד שם תהילתו מתים יחייאל ברוך עדי עד שם כתיבה וכתימה טובה and yasher koach to you. You thanked everybody, Rabbi Farkas, and now we are thanking you and saying yasher koach for that moving drasha. Thank you.